You're welcome back to the AM Club right here on MX24. My name is Miriam Udwa Commenta. Let's get into what we're talking about this morning. But Diana and I were discussing, we're having conversations around the names for all these fan bases. And we asked for one for King Promise. And actually someone sent it in. So good morning, the AM Club. Bobby here, and his name is Bobby. He said, just wanted to say the name of King Promise's fan base is the 5-Star Army. Okay, the 5-Star Army. Thank you. So that's it. We have a name for King Promise's fan base. The rest of them should submit their names for inclusion on the list because we cannot have huge artists in Ghana without a fan base name. Okay, now that's just besides the point. We're going straight to Lifestyle Daily. In fact, this is Lifestyle Daily. We're going straight to what we're talking about this morning. We're talking sleeping disorders, and joining me for the conversation, Dr. Michael Biney. Good morning,
Good morning, Mimi. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good too. I think I also want to suggest which name for King Promise.
Okay, Promise.
It just came to mind.
What?
The Promised Landers or the Israelites.
Yeah, the Israelites. we gave them Promisarians.
Okay, that's it.
It's not bad, right?
That's good.
But for King Paluta, it's Palutarians. If this name that we want, I beg you, all the Palutarians come here. Let's agree on this name. Palutarians is our name. All the King Paluta fans,
Maybe
what do you think?
Pluto.
No, Palutarians. Because we want a dramatic name that will keep us in the limelight for a very long time. Because this is our season.
I tell you.
Guys, Palutarians it is. Let's talk about conversation. But I mean, how have you been doing? It's political season. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, political season. We don't even know what political season it is.
It is, right?
Because, I mean, the health situations, they still keep on recurring. So they keep on coming to the hospital regardless as to whether we're in election year or not in election year. So
people don't feel... So usually in a typical election year like this, what does it look like in the hospitals? Like, is there any, different vibe going on in the hospitals?
Oh, you'd... not necessarily the hospital. I feel whatever goes on in the communities, what happens in the hospital, because the hospital is like an aggregation of a certain sector or a certain sect of the community. So you have people talking about MPP, you have people talking for NDC, you have people talking against NDC, you have people talking for PPP, and people talking for the butterfly. So it's like that. It's like that. I don't think it's anything extraordinary. Just like whatever happens in the communities, what happens in the hospital. I don't see anything so different. Maybe,
right. But in a season like this, when politicians are, talking about their policies for different sectors of the economy, do you not look for something to be said about the health space? Because again, I tell you what, when budgets are being read, when promises are being made, when manifestos are being launched, there are certain areas of the economy that they highlight. One being health, how they have contributed or are going to contribute. So when you look at all these manifestos for this year 2024, what do you think? What are your expectations with regards to the health sector from politicians? I
can tell you that when it comes to policy making in health, I think Ghana sits on top. In fact, the Rwanda we are hailing today, they came to Ghana, I think, which year? I think 2009 or so. They came to Ghana to come and dab our policy. The policy that we have. Yes, Rwanda came to dab. I think Kenya also came to dab. Exactly as we have written it. So if it comes to policy, I don't think we are lacking in policy. I think it's the implementation of a policy.
True.
So, for instance, I remember in 2020, the president came to my facility and came to give a promise. The promise was that he was going to renovate or try and then make Tema General Hospital like Tema Regional Hospital. In fact, that's the name on paper now. It's called Tema Regional Hospital and not Tema General Hospital again. The idea is that, or looking at how the infrastructure is supposed to be, it's going to look like UGMC and Rage put together. Because Tema General Hospital, I can tell you that Tema General Hospital, if you look at how Rage is or the way UGMC is, I think Tema General Hospital, you can build 5 of UGMCs on Tema General Hospital plots and you can still get hostels for the doctors,
The
and
doctors.
even get hostels for relatives who come from far and wide just to come to the hospital. Because sometimes you come to the hospital and you must be admitted. The reason why some of our people or some of my clients would decline admission is because the person whom she came with would have to go back to maybe Ningo, because Pram comes all the way there.
Yes.
So they'll have to go back, and it actually disturbs the treatment of a person. So if we have hostels like that, it can happen. So I'm actually saying categorically that looking at the land space of Tamajono Hospital, you can build 5 of UGMCs, get hostels on the same plot, okay, and then even get hostels for relatives.
Wow.
Yes, and dependents who
it's
come
not about the
along with
policies,
them.
it's
So
about the
it's all about,
implementation.
up until now, we've not seen anything being done. Sometimes it's not just about the presidency, it's about the implementers, the people he has appointed to help. Sometimes I think it's from there. The push is not there. The push is not there.
They don't see
the
value
the
it
value
brings
of it.
onto their ruling at the time.
Yes.
So
So
to speak.
I can also tell you emphatically, because I'm a Tema boy, I've stayed in Tema all my life. You would oftentimes hear that industries in Tema would want to come together and then build something, an ultra-modern center, because when they have injuries, they come to Tema General Hospital. Everything, they come to Tema General Hospital. So they want to do things like that. But I don't know whether the presidency has heard it and not doing anything about it. I want to give them the benefits of the doubt that they've not heard it. But I think that they should, by this time, some of these industries want to come together
and do something. And
But
I've
you see a lot of bureaucracies coming against them and all those things. I mean, it's politics. I mean,
I've turned our health conversation into politics,
no, it's really
but
important.
I'm actually wanting to understand, because again, whatever we do, it's upon us. We're going to go to the polls very soon, and it's important for us to understand in the diverse industries what is happening, what our expectations are. Because you see, even though it might not, in your profession, you probably don't have to do too much politics. Whatever the politicians decide affects you.
I always say this: medicine is a science, but it is governed by policies.
Right.
So you can know all the medicine in the world, but someone is sitting somewhere and
deciding what you do with that knowledge that you have.
I can boldly tell you. I mean, this is the last one. I can boldly tell you that. I'm not going to mention anyone, but I can boldly tell you that the not even just accidents, but sometimes we move people all the way from maybe Kumasi, all the way transecting into maybe Accra so that they can go to UGMC. Then the person passes on the way. I can tell you that if you can build a place like Rage or build a place like UGMC at Suhum, I can tell you that someone who died recently wouldn't have died. I'm not mentioning his name, but that particular person, I can boldly tell you that maybe at least 24 hours would have come in and possibly would have managed it or moved him to UGMC rather than moving all the way from wherever he was with the attempt of coming. I mean, such a young person. So
I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. I hope they got it the way I got it. But anyway, that's besides what we're doing this morning. But again, like I said earlier, we're in an election year. All of this matters to the average Ghanaian, our health sector. And I also saw you with the thing. I was asking him what the brochure he had, if it was LGBTQ,
sustainable development goals.
So it then told me that this man is really in tune with what's going on around the world. But let's go into what we're talking about this morning.
What are we talking about today?
Disorders.
Hey, I didn't also bring my maths. I think we could have practiced sleeping. Why not? Because we are talking about sleep. We'll make it practical.
We'll make it practical. If you try to sleep under 2 minutes and it doesn't happen, you have a sleeping disorder?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so now explain to us what sleeping disorders are.
So, sleeping disorders, I want to look at it in 2 ways. The definition and then how we categorize it, okay? So, the definition is very subjective. The definition is very, very subjective because the sleep cycle of one particular person is quite different from the other. So, the definition or how to be able to properly situate the definition for sleep disorders, it's quite subjective. So, it depends on one particular person. From one particular person to the other. You would have someone who sleeps for 8 hours and has not gotten enough sleep. That is a sleep disorder. but someone would sleep for 3 hours and you have a restful sleep. That is not a sleep disorder. So it's not about the length of sleeping, it's the quality of the sleep. So looking at it, I mean, anytime we mention sleep disorder, one of the first words that come to mind is insomnia.
Yeah.
The other word is narcolepsy. These are the very, very common ones. But it's just looking at it that way, you just put yourself in a certain bracket. Because if you should just talk about insomnia and narcolepsy, then you are ignoring things like somnambulation, sleepwalking. It's also a sleep disorder. So because of this particular discrepancies and these nitty-gritties, we want to classify sleep disorders into two. One is parasomnias and the other is dysomnias. The dysomnias are the most common types. That is your insomnia and all those things. So when I say dysomnia, I'm talking about a sleep disorder that is related to the quality and quantity of sleep.
The quality and quantity.
And quantity of sleep. It also relates to the initiation of sleep and sustaining of sleep. So that is the dysomnia, and that's what we normally want to talk about. So anytime sleep disorder comes to mind, that's the first thing that comes to mind, but it goes beyond that. We have the parasomnias. The parasomnias are sleep talking, sleepwalking, nightmares, certain sexual behavior, what we call sexomnia. Meaning sometimes some people have sleep, when they sleep, they feel like people are having sex with them, and it's attributed to certain spirits. There are also sleep disorders. All these put together are sleep disorders. But the most common and the most relatable are those ones, the dysomnias, which has got to do with the quality.
Well, the sexnomia, it's not spiritual. There's a medical.
I always say that I learned science. Even science actually recognizes spirits.
Oh.
We call it cryptogenic.
Oh.
Cryptos means spirit. Genic means where something comes from.
Okay.
So putting it together, cryptogenic means from spirit. So we also recognize spirit, but in the study of sleep, we are yet to marry cryptogenic causes to sleep. I'm a spiritual person, I'm a Christian, so I would want to believe that spirit can do that. Agreed. But I mean, I'm not here to be a religious leader.
There's not a
concretized. There's no concretized research that relates cryptogenicity of sleep disorders with sleep disorders. No, with spirit. No.
So there's a medical diagnosis for people who sleep and feel like they're having sex. So explain that.
So it also, I mean, these things has got to do with, or has bearings with, psychology and psychiatry. So if you've been having it and it's, recurrent, then you want to see a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, not just a psychologist, but a clinical psychologist, and then you also want to see a psychiatrist. It can be treated. It can be treated.
So tell me, what could possibly get someone to be having dreams or be feeling like what is the diagnosis? What is it like?
Then that's how I'm saying that sleep disorders are very subjective. So it's what the person tells you, it's what you'll be able to base on to be able to say.
So for instance, if you're going to diagnose, if someone says that when I sleep, they don't believe in any spiritual things. So they know that medically, because we are ascertaining here that there is a possibility that there's a medical condition that could get someone go to fall asleep and then they feel like someone is having sex with them. When I come to a doctor, what can I tell the doctor that the doctor will tell me that no, this is medical, like, you are suffering from sex or what?
Okay, sexnomia.
Sexnomia.
So it's about the recurrence and
attributed to what?
What
could I be doing?
Okay.
Or what could be the state of my mental health that I will be sleeping and be thinking that someone is having sex with me?
Science also even believes in the Bible. So we say that sometimes, not all the time, sometimes dreams are as a result of an abundance of activity. I think it's in Ecclesiastes chapter 5. Medical school, they teach us Bible, please. They also teach us Bible. So Ecclesiastes, I think it's Ecclesiastes chapter 5. I don't know which verse it is, but Ecclesiastes chapter 5. I think it's just the preliminary verses. I think between 1 and 5 or 1 and 10. Between 1 and 10, you find it there that your dreams are as a result of the numerous activity. So we realized that sometimes the people who have this sexnomia are exposed to pornographic material, exactly, masturbation. So you realize that sexnomia actually is tied with it. Oftentimes you ask the person, have you had sex before? Say no. Do you have sex with yourself, which is masturbation? Say yes, I do. Are you exposed to pornographic
material?
Recently, he'll tell you that yes, it is. So we realize that when we take those things, exactly, when you take those things away from you and help you, you realize that the person, it dissipates over time.
Right.
It dissipates over time. So there's something like that. We believe that there's something like that. Just that, I mean, the reason why it's not that common to us, or it doesn't come to the hospital often, is because we always want to. That's how the African anthropology is. Before we even think of medicine, we would want to diagnose ourselves with things like herbs, spiritism, exactly, before we even finally agree that it is. So it's actually very, very uncommon. A lot of doctors will tell you that they've never even seen that before. So I have had friends tell me, not even at the hospital, so they won't go to the hospital because they know me. They'll call and ask, oh, I've been having this, what do I do? And you just start talking to them. Even they don't even come to you in the sense of, let's say it's medicine, but because they know you're also a Christian, and they know that spirits and medicine sometimes there's some kind of correlation. They just want to ask what happens.
So I just wanted clarity for that because I've never heard it before. But now let's move to, so that's one sleeping disorder.
Yes, that's one of them.
Well, that's one of them.
Yes, that's one of them.
Never knew this.
Yes.
If you ask
it
me,
says a sleeping disorder.
People.
Yes.
Well, now let's move to the very common ones, which is you call them. Today you've used a lot of technical words, so I'm going to try not to pronounce it. I'm going to have you help me. You mentioned two.
Parasomnia. So medicine is not difficult. I mean, the words we use in medicine are just relatable. They are just literal.
Because
they are
you're
Greek
used to,
words.
brother. Because you're used to.
So somnia means related to sleep. Somnia is related
to sleep.
Related
so anything
to sleep.
insomnia is related to sleep.
Oftentimes related to sleep. Then the para, meaning when we say para means it is not exactly as it is parallel to it. It is by the side of it. It's related to it. Okay? So it's just like the dysnomias. The dysnomias are, when I say dysnomia, it is a sleep disorder proper.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's related to sleep itself. Like, what is sleep? Initiation of sleep, sustaining your sleep, and coming out of sleep. That is sleep. Basically, that is sleep. Okay? So when I say there's a dysomnia, like when I say this means a mishap. Exactly. A mishap of sleep. Which mishap are we talking about? The initiation of sleep, the sustainability of sleep over a period of time, and coming out of sleep. So that's dysomnia. Right. Then we have parasomnia. It is by the side of quality of sleep, initiation of sleep, maintenance of the sleep, and coming out of sleep. When I talk about dreams, is it really related to you initiating sleep or coming out of sleep? No. But it is related to sleep, so we say parasomnia. I don't know.
So that's why we have the nightmares.
That's the nightmares. Nightmare, it doesn't have anything got to do with your initiation of your sleep or your maintenance.
But it happens in your sleep.
It happens in your sleep.
Because it can never happen if you're not sleeping. So that's parasomnia. I'm a good student, guys.
Exactly. Medicine is not
straight
difficult.
A's. It's just that, life happened.
But you are doing great too.
But
please.
I was going to be a neurosurgeon.
Wow.
That's what I wanted to do.
It's not far.
It's not too late, eh?
It's just 14 years. Why not? You can start now.
14 years?
Yes.
To study neurosurgery.
Now it's 13 years.
Now it's 13. It's still not hard, right?
It's not hard. It's not hard.
13, that would be 43. I'll still be good. 43. Guys, I'll do neurosurgery.
Yes. Oh, I believe you can.
Yeah, I can.
I believe you can.
I will.
It's not difficult at all. So it's like that. So just think about it. Even if you don't remember the nomenclature, because it's too much to you, it's new. It's true. Even me, when you mention things that are from the art sector, it takes a while before I get used to it. The reason I'm saying this is because I'm used to it. I'm used to them. Yes. So the only way you just say is that, I have a problem got to do with the initiation of my sleep. I have a problem got to do with the maintenance of my sleep. I have a problem got to do with coming out of sleep. Then I know that there's a sleep disorder. You don't need to know the nomenclature. The name for it. Oh, I've been having too many nightmares these days. Oh, I have been having problems got to do with talking during sleep. And those things you may not know. It's the person sleeping by you or the person with you. Or even if you're alone, there are apps that can tell you.
Yes, I used to have an app like that. And I used to be scared of replaying it. Because what the app does is that it will tell you everything that's happening when you're not sleeping.
Yes.
Imagine you go and play and you heard that someone was walking in your room.
Exactly.
So I will record and then I'm scared of playing it myself.
Yes, but those apps are really, really good. Yeah. I mean, it helps the medical practitioner to be able to, categorically state that, okay, this is what is wrong with you. Because sometimes it's a little bit difficult, depending on which stage of the sleep you are in. You may not be able to even remember whatever goes on. So that's sleep disorder. That's sleep disorder. So the very common ones is insomnia.
Yeah.
So insomnia is basically you not being able to sleep.
Yes.
But it has got to do with the initiation and maintenance of sleep. But normally it is the initiation of sleep. People have difficulty in.
Yeah. But what could be the causes, though, of all these sleep disorders? What could be highlights the causes for?
Okay, so I have.
We've talked about the sexnomia, though.
Yes.
So we move to
So the causes are divided into three. We have medical causes of it, we have psychiatric causes of it, and we have environmental. The very first two, let me ignore them because they are not really practical. The really practical ones are the environmental ones. Staying in a noisy area, staying close to a factory. You see, sometimes you don't understand why the white man does certain things, or we have something we call layout of settlement. So, aptee, I've not been aptee before, but I mean, you would see, okay, I've been outside of a country, but not to stay there for a long time, so I cannot say affirmatively. Okay, so aptee, they have settlements. You cannot build by a factory. Do you get, because of sleep? Because they know that it's affecting sleep. So whatever we are talking about today, it's not just about the medical sciences. It has got to do with town and country planning. It has got to do with land commission. It has got to do with environmentalists. Yes, exactly. All these people are really, really important to sleep disorder. So one of the main causes is noise. Okay. So what is noise? Noise is a disturbance, or it's a sound that is not really, it's not pleasant. Okay. So some people will tell you that, oh, I sleep better with music. Some people will also say I don't sleep well with music. So noise is one of them. The other one is using this caffeine, energy drinks. You think that, okay, today I took it, I fell asleep, but they aggregate, and over time you go and sleep and you cannot sleep. The other one is blue light. Sleeping in blue light. A lot of people have blue lights in their room, and they don't even know that is the reason why they can't sleep. When you use blue lights too much, it affects something we call the circadian rhythm. In fact, it affects a certain part of your brain we call the suprachiasmatic nucleus and the pineal gland. These ones are very, very important when it comes to sleep-wake cycle. Now, let me show you. This suprachiasmatic nucleus is just situated behind your eye. So when light enters, so at a certain point in your day, it should be able to absorb a lot of light. The more it absorbs light, it tells you that, okay, this is the time to sleep. This is the time to sleep, and you have to sleep. Okay, so if the reason why people like the IT techs, they don't like to work in, place where there's a lot of light. They like dark areas. It's because they can work for long hours. Because the more they stay in the dark area, the less light enters the eye. The less light enters the eye, then they don't sleep so much.
Yeah, it doesn't give up on them. It has more time.
Exactly.
To stay awake.
Exactly. So then the other one is that you see that those people have insomnia. They really, really do have insomnia. It's because of the blue light that is inside of the screens and all those things. So nowadays we realize that it's not fashion, okay, where people are buying spectacles, when they are watching
It's
movie,
not fashion.
it's actually not
It's
fashion.
not.
It cancels out that blue
Yes,
light.
yes, it does.
So that it doesn't affect you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you watch, that's how come some people, they watch movies so much that now they cannot even sleep. So insomnia, one of it is blue light. When you have a lot of blue light in your room, you can never sleep. Noise, okay? The noise is not just music and all. Someone entering your room over a long period of time. Once in a while, the person enters your room. Once in a while, enters your room. Once in a while, enters your room. The other one is also related to females. The sound of your baby. So you will not have. It's actually psychology, so that you don't sleep and forget that particular baby. So God has actually put it in females so that it disturbs your sleep. So these are some of the causes of.
When I look at the
of
causes that you
insomnia.
have, actually, there is like a lot of it is humanly involving.
Yes, yes,
like
yes.
humans actually initiate these things. There's nothing like, oh, it just came from nowhere and I can't sleep. Do you know at some point people, there's this name, it's not insomnia, it is those who can't sleep at night. It's not insomnia. Oh.
They can't sleep at night. They are nocturnal.
Nocturnals. It became like a flex, like, oh, I'm nocturnal. Like, I'm nocturnal. I'm like, okay, it's not actually flex, but it became a thing.
Yes.
Being nocturnal, is it inherited? Where'd you get it from? Where does it come from? That people come out and be like, I'm nocturnal.
I oftentimes laugh at people who say they are nocturnal. The reason I say that is because such people, they sleep in the day.
Yes.
So it depends. If you can have very good day sleep, okay, and it's not affecting your daily activity, it's not a sleep disorder.
Oh, so being nocturnal is not a sleep disorder.
It's not a sleep disorder at all, because such people, they compensate for it during the day. Then there are some people, they are nocturnal, but they cannot compensate during the day. That is a sleep disorder.
That's a sleep disorder.
Yes.
So you are supposed to have 8 hours sleep.
No.
Okay.
It's subjective.
It's subjective.
If you remember, when I...
So there's no standard to how...
There's no standard. Because there are some people like myself, if I should sleep with the aircon, within 4 hours I'm up, and that's all.
I can't do anything else.
You do whatever.
Guilty. 4 hours.
Yes.
Maximum. And I can't sleep again.
Yes. You whatever you will do to me.
I cannot sleep 8
can't
hours.
sleep.
I don't know how.
Yes. Yes. So it's like that. It's individualized from one particular person to the other. So there are some people that 4 hours, it's fine. People like myself, or someone like myself, within 1 minute, and you can ask anybody who sleeps around me, my parents and all, and my colleagues, within 1 minute or 30 seconds, I'm gone.
I'm gone. I cannot do that.
Yes, so the body is now used to it. So if I don't do that, it's that it begins to worry me a lot.
Yeah.
So it is not a sleep disorder if it's not affecting your daily activity.
Okay.
It's a sleep disorder when it's affecting your daily activity.
Okay.
So even if you sleep for 8 hours and it's still affecting your daily activity, you may want to check out on a few things. Okay. Sometimes it's just because of the fact that you are taking too much milk.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes. So when you take in milk, when metabolized, releases something we call melatonin. If you remember, I was telling you that there's something we call the circadian rhythm, which helps your sleep-awake cycle. Circadian rhythm is actually called the sleep-awake cycle. Yeah. Your sleep-wake cycle, sleep-awake, sleep-wake, sleep-wake. That's what we call the circadian rhythm. I mentioned two parts of the brain that are involved, the pineal gland and the suprachiasmatic nucleus, didn't I? Melatonin is produced by the pineal gland. So when you take milk, you are adding on to the already existing melatonin in your body. So when you take too much milk, it also affects your sleep
cycle.
So let me give you, sometimes you depriving yourself of sleep is actually very good, because you just want to make sure that you achieve targets. Because as a human being, if you cannot achieve your target, then what are you doing?
Right.
So one of the things you want to do as a student, if you are listening to me, some of you, when you are going to study, okay, what you do is that you want to make some coffee.
Yeah, coffee, energy drink.
Coffee and energy drink, so that you can stay awake. That's good. But this is the trick. You make two mistakes. Some people will say that when I take coffee, when I'm going to study, I sleep. Yes, you will sleep, of course. So the reason why you sleep is because of two reasons. When you are going to study, okay, you take the coffee, just before you start feeling tired. So when you do that, you fill your belly. And when you fill your belly, the blood vessels that go to your belly, they need to digest whatever you need. Your body has to digest whatever you need to do.
Yes.
And those things are mechanical. They need a lot of blood, to go there.
Okay.
So when you eat a lot or you drink too much coffee, not sipping it, you drink too much coffee, let's say, because you know that you're going to a lecture hall, it's quite far away from wherever you are. And also, you also don't want to see your bed so that you go back to sleep. So you just gulp everything and then continue. What you are doing is that you are trying to shunt away blood that should go to the head. That should make sure that it goes to the GIT.
Okay.
So immediately the blood doesn't go to the brain, it shuts down the brain so that your brain can sleep because there's no blood getting there.
Yeah.
There's no the blood that is supposed to go to the head maximum has been shunted towards the GIT so that you can what? You can digest your food.
Yes.
And that's why you sleep. And that's how come some people say, when I eat a lot, I sleep. Because there's blood shunting away. The other mistake is that, because we are talking about sleep,
wrap up the conversation.
the other mistake is that you add milk
to the coffee.
To the coffee. When you add milk, you are adding to your milk, you are adding to your coffee melatonin, which induces your sleep.
Yes. So
you
are making all the mistakes.
Mistakes, exactly.
So it's not entirely, it's not bad. Yes. It's just how you use it.
The body is in
this conversation, I think we can and we will extend it to some other time.
Why not?
But I know that we have done good with what we have touched on. We've touched on the basis that, like, the initial most important, that is diagnosis, and also talking about the real issues. I think that other side of the conversations, which is, what we should do, and which is very brilliant that you actually brought this one in, especially for the students, because we have a lot of students watching us and they do this a lot. And so thank you so much, Dr. Bani, for coming through. I know if you're watching, you know you want more. So we're going to be having a part 2 of the sleeping disorders of this particular conversation here on the AM Club. And it's always a delight because the way you talk about issues is like we're in the classroom, and I'm always enjoying our time with you. Dr. Bani, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. How do we connect with you?
Oh, if someone says,
social, right now, I want to talk to you.
I think X, on X, it's Papa Baini, ITSPAPABINY, and on Instagram it's _PAPABINY, or just write Papa Baini. You would see someone with a suit, or the Papa Bainis are not too much, or they are not too many. You can just click on it and then you can follow.
But if we want to see you in person, Tema General Hospital.
Tema General Hospital, or it's always by we can always make time. I don't have time, or we all don't have time because we've planned our itineraries. But if you should text me on X or on Instagram, we can always make time for it. Why not?
Thank you so much, Papa Baini, for coming through. This is our medical doctor in the house, our own personal medical doctor, and he always shows up when we need him. And today we've been talking about sleeping disorders. Let's move straight to the plug right after this.